After crossing the lake, Jesus and his disciples landed at Gennesaret and moored the boat. The moment they stepped ashore, people recognized Jesus. News spread like wildfire. A wave of hope washed over the entire region. People began carrying their sick loved ones on mats, bringing them to wherever they heard Jesus was. They crowded around him, begging for a chance to touch even just the fringe of his cloak. And an amazing thing happened. Everyone who touched it was completely healed. The power flowing from him was undeniable, a tangible expression of God's love. But not everyone was celebrating. Soon, a group of Pharisees and teachers of the law arrived from Jerusalem. They gathered around Jesus, not to be healed, but to find fault. They noticed that some of his disciples were eating their food without first going through the ceremonial hand-washing ritual prescribed by their traditions. This was a big deal to them. So, they confronted Jesus. "Why don't your disciples follow the tradition of the elders?" they demanded. "Why do they eat their food with defiled hands?" Jesus looked at them, and his response was direct and piercing. He called them hypocrites. He then quoted the prophet Isaiah, saying, "These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Their worship is a farce, for they teach man-made ideas as commands from God." He continued, "You have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to observe your own traditions." He pointed out how they cleverly sidestepped God's command to honor their parents by dedicating their financial support to the temple. A tradition they called Korban. By doing this, they were nullifying the word of God for the sake of their tradition. Then, Jesus called the crowd to him. "Listen to me, all of you, and understand this," he said. "It's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You are defiled by what comes from within you." Later, when they were inside, away from the crowd, his disciples, still a bit confused, asked him to explain what he meant. Jesus seemed a little surprised they hadn't understood. "Don't you see?" he asked. "Anything you eat enters your stomach and then passes out of your body. It doesn't go into your heart. It can't make you spiritually unclean." And in saying this, Jesus declared all foods ceremonially clean, a revolutionary statement at the time. He then elaborated on his point. "What truly defiles a person," he explained, "is what comes from the inside, from a person's heart. This is where evil thoughts originate. Things like sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and all kinds of foolishness. All these evils come from within, and these are what defile a person." He was shifting the focus from external rules to the internal state of the heart. After this, Jesus left that area and traveled north to the region of Tyre. He went into a house hoping for some privacy, but it was impossible for him to remain hidden. His reputation had preceded him. Word reached a local woman, a Greek born in Syrian Phoenicia. Her young daughter was tormented by an impure spirit, and she was desperate. She found Jesus, fell at his feet, and pleaded with him to drive the demon out of her daughter. At first, Jesus' response seems harsh. He said, "First let the children eat all they want, for it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." In that culture, children referred to the people of Israel, and dogs was a common, though derogatory, term for Gentiles or non-Jews. But this woman was not deterred. Her faith and her love for her daughter were fierce. She replied with incredible wit and humility, "Lord, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." She wasn't arguing. She was agreeing with him, but appealing to his mercy. She believed that even a crumb of his power was enough. Jesus was moved by her response. For such a reply, he said, "You may go. The demon has left your daughter." She didn't need to see it happen. She took him at his word, went home, and found her child lying peacefully on the bed. The demon was gone. Her persistent, humble faith had been rewarded. From there, Jesus continued his journey, heading through the region of Sidon, down to the Sea of Galilee, and into the area of the Here, a group of people brought a man to him who was deaf and had a speech impediment. They begged Jesus just to place his hand on him. Jesus, always personal and compassionate, took the man aside, away from the crowd, for a private moment. He put his fingers into the man's ears. Then he spat and touched the man's tongue. He looked up to heaven, and with a deep sigh, he said a single Aramaic word, "If," which means be opened. Instantly, the man's ears were opened. His tongue was loosened, and he began to speak plainly. The transformation was immediate and complete. Jesus instructed them not to tell anyone, but the more he insisted on silence, the more the people couldn't help but spread the news. They were overwhelmed with amazement. The report they gave was simple and profound. "He has done everything well," they said. "He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak." They had witnessed the power of God in a way that left them utterly astounded, confirming that this was no ordinary man. Thanks for watching! If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores these powerful narratives. See you next time!
Thank you for watching. God bless you.